Hi, it's Glenn Beaver again. In the last session, I did a basic overall introduction of the component manager system. In this session, I expect to go in some more detail about the layout of it and the color coding and so forth. So let's start with that. There are 5 tables here surrounded in black. The top one is the design table. That's where you enter information about the design, the reference designator, or let's see, the design name itself here, reference designator in this field, and you see if you mouse over the fields, it gives you some more information about what goes in that field. In this case, it has an ID number. It's grayed out, which means it's read-only for the user's purposes. That is the unique identifier for this combination of design and reference designator. This is the part field, and you decide on what you want to call a given part and then be consistent with that throughout the other design tables. In this case, the descriptive part name is a 1.0 microfarad tantalum capacitor with a rather strange looking package designator as that. And an Eagle device number. I use the Eagle printed circuit design tool. So these two fields right beneath it, this package flows into that package. This Eagle device name flows into that one. So whatever I've defined in the design, things flow downhill. These two go into the device and package, as I just said. These two, the part and package, the package not only flows down here, but flows down to the manufacturer's part down here, and the part flows down there. So whatever you enter up here gets entered down there. And the purpose of that is, it says, okay, I have identified a part for my design with a particular package style, particular footprint. Now, what manufacturer actual parts do I have defined in my system that satisfy those criteria? And it came up with this part number here, this TAP number, as 1. In this field up here, if I double click on that, it says there's actually another one, this 199 part. And if I select that, it populates this and all the fields beneath it, which in this case includes the vendor table. So you notice it satisfies the same, has the same part and package name, but it says physically there's a different part number, different manufacturer that will satisfy the design criteria given up here in those fields. There's an area for description. Okay, it should be whatever you want to put in there. There's also information about the inventory, and this is whatever you have in stock. These are manually entered fields. So I happen to know of this particular part number. I have 9 of them in stock. I might have ordered them from several different orders, but between them I have 9 in my stock. It's located in whatever location, that designation I choose to put there. In this case, it says it's in my blue box. It's ROHS compliant. The inventory date you put in here, so you have some idea when you enter that information how stale it might be. And here you can also put in a datasheet URL. It can be a local file, or it can be a file that's out on the web, and when you click the datasheet button, it goes to that datasheet and whatever you defined in that field. It's a really handy feature. I use that all the time. By the same token, if you get down here to the order field, remember this or manufacturer's part number rolls down here. But when you order it from a vendor, say DigiKey or maybe Newark or Mauser, Allied, those folks, they often have their own part number. In this case, the vendor part number, DigiKey is this number right here, 708-1204MD. And if you search their database by either of these part numbers, you should come up with the same part. This is the quantity of those that I ordered or expecting to order, the unit cost, the total cost, the catalog page. If I link to that, it takes me, assuming I'm actually tied into the internet, which I am not at the moment. I'm using a local server. Like I demonstrated that in the last session. It takes you right to the page where you can get all the ordering information. So, a bit about the colors. It's a bit of an Easter egg look, but there's a reason for this. The blue fields are things that you enter as record identifiers of some sort, ways of determining, of finding in the data table what you're looking for. In this case, the design and reference designator, the combination of those finds what you're looking for. Green field indicates that it flows down to something else. That goes to here, package goes to there, it also goes to here, device goes to there. In some cases, the blue field is not only selectable, it also can flow down. If I enter information in this top field here, it flows down, so I can go to, say, R1, and all that information flows down. You'll notice that these are blank down here, which means I have not entered any, I don't have any inventory of those, I have not ordered any of that particular design type yet, so that's kind of on the to-do list if I'm pursuing that design. Let me go back to the C1. But I can go right into this table here and select something else. It will not affect anything above it. In the case of package and device, it doesn't affect anything below it either. But you can treat these individually and find the information about them. Notice these radio buttons up here: read, update, add, and delete. Whatever you select in here, you can change that to say update. And when I press the submit button, any of these buttons in yellow, it takes whatever information I currently have in the field of that table and updates it. Or if it's a new entry, you press that radio button, you submit it, it'll add that in there. Any errors are successfully listed up here: submission accepted in green, big red letters if there's some issue with it, which indicates some kind of a problem. I always recommend reading something before trying to add a new one or update or deleting. Make sure you know what you've got there. Okay, so the orange buttons are submit. Every table here has one of those. The select buttons are yellow, and those are the ones where you could select if you had more than one part number. If you select that, it'll populate the fields beneath it with that. And the buttons at the top, the reset does just that. I click that, it clears all the fields. Get a clean start. If I press the help button, it goes to a help page where I've got information, say, about the database, and there's a diagram here of how the tables of the databases are tied together. If you're interested in that, tabular listing of the fields. And this is a work in progress, but this is where I'll be putting more documentation describing this. There's also a link over here to some tutorials like this one. Of course, as I say, my link to the internet is off right now, so it just says server not found. Go back to the main form. And then I've got buttons here for assemblies, design, part, and orders. Now, design is this field here. Parts is this field or table here. Orders is this table here. What's this assemblies thing? Well, what the assemblies is you're putting printed circuit boards together. Say, for example, let's go back to this. I can select printed circuit board as a part. If I go to assemblies, It says it's an accounting of the different assemblies that you had fabricated or manufactured. So I've got several of these boards. They're all the same design, but in this case serial number 1 is on the field here. Tells me when it was fabricated and by whom, when the parts were put on the board and assembled by whom. In this case I did it myself. Who the customer or system is that this is targeted for. It tells you in this table down here all the other serial numbers in that design, and by pressing this ID number here you can call any of them up to the top here for editing. And you'll also notice this field here on notes, which is where you put information about that particular PCB. If you've changed components on it, if you had a problem with it, if you assigned it to one project, then reassign it to another one. In this case, it says it works. Okay, sorry about that. Impropitious phone call. Anyway, something you'll notice about these buttons here. If I hit the Assemblies, if I stay in the same place, it'll take me right back to the main form. If I hit Design Form, stay in the same place, it'll take me back to Design Form. So hopefully that means less hunting around for buttons as you're navigating around these pages. One thing I forgot to mention here is the database. It's Parts Master by default, but you do have the ability to change that if you want to do another whole database or have different databases for different groups. If you put in a new database there and hit Reset Form, it'll take the new database. Okay, well that's enough for that session. Perhaps a little too much. Let me mention, I should have mentioned this earlier I suppose, but the reason I designed this is because for my own purposes. I do designs, and running around trying to find this information and keeping it together and linking it has been a bit of a problem. Spreadsheets didn't quite seem to handle it. Seemed like a natural job for database, and I set about to make a front end to make it more easy to use. And this is the result. Till next time, this is Glenn Beaver from Beaver Labs. Thank you.